Okay, so good morning. Welcome to this month's training on Salamander Identity Verification. It's also known as SIV, or you'll hear me call it as Identity Verification for short. This is one of two features that comes with the Track App subscription. The other is GIS mapping, which we are not covering in this training, but I do have another training video if you're interested in learning what that feature is. I have that available within Salamander University. And of course, there's a ton of training documents that you can review for that feature. During today's training, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can send a message through the chat. All right, so first what I wanted to cover is what is the identity verification feature? So the identity verification feature provides an additional layer of tag security for your event by ensuring that the people that are entering your scene are active, they've been vetted, and that they're qualified to do the job. Any Salamander credential, so that means that it has to be printed from Salamander Live, can be verified, including responders, staff members, employees belong to other Salamander Live accounts. And the verification status can be shared with any connected track app. So as long as that track app user is joined into that same event, they'll be able to see the identity verification results. Now, all track app users have access to this feature and they can toggle it on or off. Okay, so this again is an individual base. They can go in their application and turn it on or off. So if you're looking at using the identity verification feature, we recommend that you build in some internal processes for how they're going to handle the results. Right. With the identity verification feature turned on in the Track app, so what happens is that every time you scan a Salamander ID tag or you download a resource within the Track app, the system is going to complete either a 3 to 5 check um, or say 3 to 5 tests. So it's dependent upon whether you're scanning the ID or if you're downloading it. Okay. So when you're scanning an ID tag, the Track app is going to complete 5 checks. So it's going to check whether or not the record exists in Salamander Live. So again, this is to prevent fraudulent IDs. The next is going to check whether or not the tag is expired. So this is based off of printing. So if you are printing ID tags and you put an expiration date on the ID tag itself, on when that ID tag expires, it's going to look at that date. Again, if you're not using expiration dates, then it's going to completely just skip that. The next is going to check is whether or not the person's qualifications are expired. So it's going to go through and view all of the dates that's been entered in for each qualification. Any that are expired, it's going to let you know that they've got those qualifications that are expired. Next is it's going to check whether they are in good employment standing. So to be in good standing, they have to be active, full-time, life member, other part-time, temporary, or voluntary. And then last but not least, it's going to check whether or not the print ID is valid. So this is basically the process for this one for number 5 is that in the case where, let's say you have John, he gets an ID printed off for him. Let's say he loses ID, so then he gets another ID that's printed. What happens is that it's verifying to make sure that the latest credential printed is the one that's being used or being scanned into the system. So that's what number 5 is all about. Now, in the Track app, if you used it before, you know that you have the capability to download resources as well. This can be for any reasons, right? So the ID tag is not scannable for some reason. So that barcode can be scratched up and just not scannable, or the person, doesn't have their credential with them. So in this case, you can download that person's record into the Track app. When you're downloading, it only looks at 3 of the 5 tests. Again, anything that's related to that physical salamander credential are the two that are not going to be verified here. So it's not going to looking at whether or not the tag is expired and as well as the print ID is valid, since those two are based off a physical ID card. Okay. So there are four identity verification results that you may see either in a pop-up screen after scanning a credential or within a person's photo in a download or in an assignment screen. So these are the ones that you're going to see. You're going to see either a valid result, a warning result, a blocked result, or offline result. So after scanning, so if you take your track app and you scan a credential, if that credential passes all tests, so this is 5 tests, that person's going to receive a valid result, okay, or verified result, and it'll tell you that that ID is valid. So what's going to happen is that this result is going to pop up for just a few seconds, and then that person is going to be immediately added to the selected assignment. Okay. In a download, when you go into the download screen within the track app, and again, after this, we'll walk you through this process. When you're looking at your list of personnel or your responders, you're going to see that in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see that verification result. Okay, so it's going to be that same icon that's going to follow in the bottom right-hand corner. You'll know that that person has met all three, so it's passed all 3 tests. If the individual fails at least one check during a scan, a warning will result. Okay. And in a download, if they pass or if they fail one test out of the 3, they'll also see that as well. So during a scan, if a warning should result, the track app user is going to have the option to allow or block that person from receiving an assignment. Okay. So in the warning, you're going to see the results. It's going to pop up on here. So it's going to go through those 5 tests, and it's going to let you know out of those 5 tests which one it failed. So in this case, this person has a qualification with code 00000 that expired on December 15, 2021. Okay. So this could be due to a number of reasons, right? This person may have not gotten their record updated for a while. Maybe they did get their qualifications up to date, but they were never updated on within their actual record itself. Or it could be truly that they chose not to renew this expire or this qualification. So with your 2 options, if you tap allow, this will add that person to the selected assignment. Okay. Now the warning result is going to follow that person. So if you go into a actual assignment, you'll see it list all the people that's a part of that assignment. And the bottom right hand corner, just like in a download, you'll see that warning result follow them. And there's a way for you to view that again if you need to see why there's a warning there. So again, I'll show you guys that when we do the demo. Now, if you block that person, so if you choose to block that person, let's say this qualification is required to do the job that they've been assigned. If you block that person's not going to be checked into that assignment at all. So it's going to just basically say that that person was blocked from the event was or blocked from that assignment. Okay, so it's not going to even add that person at all. So again, just remind you guys that these scanned results, so these results pop up every time you scan that person's credentials. So if you block it, you scan it again, you'll still get the same um, verification results every single time. Okay, and then that again, that's where you can block or allow again. In a download, you'll see that the verification results follow. So you see the warning result follows there, bottom right-hand corner. The difference is that you need to add that person first if you want to know exactly why there is a warning on that person's record. So there isn't a way for you to view this. Again, the preferred method to using the identity verification is scanning. But that download is that workaround, that next option if that person's ID is just not scannable for any particular reason. Okay, so in a download, you do have to download that person, add that person to the assignment. And then once you add that person to the assignment, you can tap on their name to view their profile to see exactly why there is a warning, why they, and see what they failed. And then there is the block result. So a block result comes in if a track gap user, let's say they choose to allow that person into an assignment. So this is in a warning. So that person got a warning, and then the track gap user allowed them onto the scene, okay, or into that assignment. Let's say they are scanned again for any particular reason. Let's say they are being moved from one assignment to another. So their ID card gets scanned again, and like I said earlier, the verification results pop up every time you scan that person's barcode. So it pops up again. And in this case, let's say that um, the next track app user decides that this status warns them to be blocked from that particular assignment. Maybe they have a qualification that expired that's required to do that job, or they decide later that, you know what, this person's on leave. We can't have that person on scene for liability reasons. And so they block that person on the second scan. What's going to happen is that when they do that, when they allow it and then they block it, you're going to see that blocked icon follow that person. So they're still in the event itself. It's just that they've been blocked from another assignment. So you'll see that in there. So it's with that X. The same thing is going to happen with the download. Let's say you download that person, and then later you block that person. It's going to be the exact same thing. Okay. Last but not least is the offline result. So this is the one I'm not going to be able to show you guys today because I do need internet on my phone in order to show you this. But the offline result. So in the event you lose internet connection on your phone, just know that you can still use your track app to scan credentials. So the track app does work in a comms in and comms out environment. The data basically is just going to sit in queue. Once internet is reestablished, the app's going to sync and all that data is going to go back up and be shared across all your other track app users and all your other track solutions. Now, the offline result, as you can see here, this will only display if the scanned credential is valid. Okay, so you'll get where it says offline and you'll also see the message that this identity is valid. Okay, now when offline, the track app is only able to verify the tag and qualification expiration dates that are encoded into the QR code of the credential. So that's it. Okay, so when that tag is expired and when those qualifications are expired, since those are hard coded into that QR code. Now, if the credential fails those tests, the warning screen is going to pop up, and this is where you're going to be able to block or allow that person. Okay. So at that time, they can choose to allow. If they allow that person will be checked into that assignment, again, waiting in queue until you get internet connection again, and it'll send that off so that all your other track app users will be able to see that you scanned in that individual. If you block that person, again, it's just not going to add that person in. All right, so at this time, I'll get my track app on a screen and do a quick demonstration for the functionalities that we just talked about and showcase all the different results that you may get with identity verification. All right, so let me just get my track app. So here's my track app. I'm just going to choose an event on here. So if you're familiar with using a track app, you know that you'll have an in progress and ended screen. So in progress, you'll see your join options there uh, for active events. Now, before we even go to an event, I want to show you where you're going to be able to toggle the identity verification feature on or off. So it's going to be up here in the top left menu. If you tap on that, it's 3 lines, that's where you can toggle on identity verification. So by default, identity verification will be turned on. So when you first download the application, it'll always be on. Now, for your event, if you're choosing not to use identity verification, just recommend that you train all your people to go in there and turn off identity verification. That way, if they're getting results, you don't have to worry about them handling those different types of results. Now, if you choose to use identity verification in this case, when you're using the track app or event management, make sure that you train them on how to handle all the different types of results that they will scan in. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on, and I'm going to join this game day 3 event. Okay, so in here, simply just start scanning in credentials. Okay, so we'll look at the scan function and then we'll look at the download function. Okay, so I got some barcodes here that I'll pull up. All right, let me make sure these barcodes are nice and big on my screen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just tap the scan button. So here's the scan button. I'm going to tap that, and I'm going to scan my first barcode. So scan the first barcode. In this case, I'm going to select the assignment. Since I didn't select the assignment first, I was on the event screen. It says select the assignment. So I'm going to select the assignment. Okay. So let's say I'm going to put this person in logistics. Okay. When I do that, I'm going to see that there is a warning. So this person has some expired qualifications. As you can see here, it says qual. So what it's populating here is the parentheses. So whatever is in the qualifications. So this is very important if you're a person that's going to be managing qualifications, it's very important to make sure that you're using a coding system that everybody will recognize. So what I'm talking about, and let me just pull it up here so you can see on here. Go to Kelly Anders, pull up on here so you can see. So I'm going to move this over real quick here. So this is Kelly Anders' record. So what it's pulling up is going to be the whatever's in the parentheses. So this is the parentheses over here. That's what's pulling up within the track app. Okay, because again, some of these names are very long, and so we're trying to keep things nice and simple within the track app. So that's what you're seeing right there. Okay. So it's going to let you know that this person has all these qualifications that are expired. So in this case, there's a bunch of them that just recently expired, and there's one that's been expired for the past year. Okay. So this is where you as a individual track app user has the option to either block or allow. So this is that internal training that you'll need to do with your group to make sure that they know how to handle this. So in this case, if they have expired qualifications, what should they do? Should they allow that person? Are they supposed to radio into someone, a supervisor, and have them decide whether or not you're going to allow or block that person? Okay. So in this case, we're going to just go ahead and allow this person. Let's say these qualifications are not required to do the job. Um, and if later they're going to need that, we can just block them from receiving a specific assignment. So I'm going to allow that person. I'm going to allow it. So it's going to add that person to the selected assignment. Okay. Let's say I've got another person that needs to go to logistics. I'm going to scan the next barcode. So in this case, I have a warning again. So in this case, this warning, it states that this person has an invalid status. They are retired. So in this case, I have the option of, again, allowing or blocking this person from receiving an assignment. Because they are retired, again, you have to decide whether or not you want to allow or block them. So this is going through that fourth verification on good employment standing. Okay, so that's what it's checking right there. So let's say I'm going to allow this person onto the scene. Okay. So allow that person. So let's say I'm done scanning them into logistics. So the next person's going to a different assignment. Again, if you're checking them into just one central area, let's say a checked in assignment, or if you're in staging and you're just checking them in staging, then you wouldn't have to go back and back out of that assignment. But in this case, people are being checked into different assignments, and so that's the reason why I'm backing out of that screen. So I'm going to scan the next person. I'm going to scan Roger Beard. Okay. Scan his assignment. He's going to go to operations. And there is two of them. So first one, identity was not found. So this is stating that this person does not have a record in Salamander Live. So there's no personnel record for this Roger Beard in Salamander Live. In this case, that means that that person used to have one. They're printed off an ID, and then let's say later maybe they resigned or they got terminated, or they might have retired. And in the case where some organizations they retire, they just completely delete their record. So in this case, this person's record was deleted from Salamander Live. So that's why it's telling you that the identity was not found. Now you may also have a print ID match failed. So this also means that this person's using an older ID. They're using an older ID to get scanned into the system. Okay. Oops. So they're using an older ID to scan in. So this could be a couple different reasons. So let's say that this person, maybe um, so Roger Beard no longer works with the organization Satellite Training. He works with a different organization now. Okay. So this record itself is no longer valid because he's with a different organization. So he needs to bring in his new ID. Okay. So in this case, you have your option to allow or block. So I'm gonna block this person. Okay. And then I'm gonna scan in the next person. So this person blocked from operation. So he wasn't even checked in at all. Okay. So add this person planning. And you see valid, it pops up so quick. You see that? It just pops up so quick in a valid scan. You see that? Verification valid, and it's just very, very, very quick. Okay. So those are the different types of solution or verification results that you may see in this case. Okay. Let me scan this other one. I think there's one more. Let me scan this one here. So this one, same, except there's tag expired and print ID match failed. So this is an older ID. So in this case, this person brought their old ID from maybe 2020. That's why it's saying that this ID is expired. But again, it's also saying that the print ID match fails. So this person, they have a record exists. It's just that they're using an old ID. So again, you can allow or block this person from receiving an assignment. Okay, so I'm going to allow. I'm going to go back and I'm going to scan in this other individual, Kelly Anders. And let's say we're going to move her into this assignment. Okay. So because she has all these qualifications that are expired, let's say this time we block her. So this time we block her. So I'm going to just show you guys what happens when you block her. So Kelly Anders was blocked from law enforcement assignment. Now, if we search for Kelly Anders, okay, oops, if I can spell. You'll see in there, Kelly Anders has that X next to her name, right? So in this case, if you're ever curious and you're searching for someone, you can tap on their name. It'll tell you exactly why that person was either blocked. In this case, it's not technically why they were blocked, but more than likely a reason for why they were blocked. Okay, so right here you'll see their badge expired on 4/8/23, and it looks like they've got a bunch of qualifications expired here. So you'll see it all listed in red. Okay, and you'll see their assignment history. So shows that they were scanned into logistics at 9/16, but since they were scanned into the logistics, maybe they were scanned a second time, more than likely they were scanned a second time, and then that's when they were blocked. That's why they have that X there. So understanding these icons right here, it's going to be very helpful to understand what transpired that block. Okay. So that's a scan. So that is a scan. So scan for all different types of uh, identity verification results. Okay. So now we've gone through scanning. Let's take a look at the download function. Okay. So the download function, again, identity verification only works for people. Okay. So only people, and those people, their credential has to be printed from Salamander Live. So if you got people that are being printed from, let's say, Rapid Tag because they are volunteers, In this case, if you're scanning rapid tag credentials, those people will pop up with a question mark in that case because it's still going through verification, but saying it doesn't recognize that ID. Okay, so that's what you'll see if you scan in anybody with rapid tag credential or even rapid tag evac. You'll see that question mark. So in a download, let's go ahead and download a person. So to download, you're going to tap that plus button. It's going to pull up the menu. So I'm using iOS, so the menu pops up at the bottom. So I'm tap on personnel. And you'll see in here that all the identity verification results appear in the bottom right-hand corner. See that? So you'll see that there's some of these individuals that have a warning result. Okay. So in this case, I can tap on multiple. In this case, if you want to tap on a bunch of them, so you can see exactly why. So I'm going to tap on Ashford, and let's do Mary Allett, Al Bannister. So those are the three. So you can do a multi-add. In this case, you'll just need to go into the record itself to view why there's a warning. So I'm tap the check mark to add. So there's 3 people I'm adding. Tap the check mark, and then tap the assignment that you're looking to throw those individuals in. Okay. I'm going to throw them into communication. Okay. So 3 resources added to event. Okay. So I'm going to go to my communication assignment. That's where I threw them in. So in this case, if you're curious on why there's a warning, again, in the download, it's only checking those 3 tests. I can look at Charlotte Ashford first. So in this case, I'm tapping her name. I tap her name. In this case, it's going to show me the reason why. So in this case, it's because she has a Fire Officer 1 qualification that's expired as of 2021. So that's the reason why she has a warning. She's failed that test. If I go back, I can look at Al Bannister and see why he has a warning. Again, his is also qualification related. So 12/31/22. So this just shows that, if you're going to be using qualifications and you're going to be adding qualifications here and adding dates, it's really imperative. It's very vital for you to go in here to go in and update these qualifications. Okay. So it's a manual job that you have to go in here and update each of these individual qualifications so that they show the correct dates so they don't pop up as expired. So in this case, it simply is going in Salamander Live here, updating the dates, getting the information from the individual, entering those new dates in here, and then clicking save. So in this case, if let's say they did renew this, let's say this is 24, I can click save. Okay, oh, go back to my other one. Should I do it in 24? Okay. So in this case, if I update these ones, I scan their barcode again, it should show that they have those ones updated. I think there's one more in here that was an older date. Here it is. Save on that one. Okay, so I'm going to scan in Kelly Anders again. Let me just scan her in. And now it's valid. You see that? Before she had all those qualifications expired, if I updated her record, it's going to immediately go up to Salem Live, say, hey, let's verify those records again, do all 5 tests again. And this time she popped up as valid. Okay. So any questions on that process? And you'll see that now she has that valid verification icon, not the warning anymore. Now she's valid. If I go to the record, you'll still see that everything is valid in this case. Okay. Any other questions on, or any questions on the identity verification feature?
Not
Now I'm
yet.
gonna, not yet?
Not yet.
Great, great. What I want to show you guys next here with the identity verification feature is the report. So there's a couple reports in this case that would allow you to view the identification results. So we're gonna go to my game day 3 event. Go in here. So there's a couple in here. So I've got the Events Pro feature, so that's the reason why in plans. That's why I can see resource timer information and the chart information. Okay. So if you don't see these and you're interested in learning more about Events Pro, I do have a video on that, or you can contact your local sales rep. They can do a demo on the Events Pro feature. But if you're interested in seeing those verification results, just know that every single one of those individuals, they are going to have their own individual report. So in this case right here, if I click on the communication, this icon for people, it's going to populate all the people or responders that's been checked into that assignment. And it's going to showcase how long they've been in that assignment for. So if we take a look at Kelly Anders, you'll see there's an individual detail report. So I can click on that, pop that open. There's the report. So you'll see that there's a history on here. Oops. There's a history in this case. So it's going to showcase. Oh, I didn't mean to click it multiple times there. So it's going to showcase all the times that she was scanned in. So at 8:32, she had invalid. So identity, expired identity. Okay. 9:17, valid with warnings. And then invalid, again, expired qualification. So in this case, they were blocked, they were allowed on scene, and they were blocked again. And now they scanned it because someone went up there and updated their record, which I did. And now she's got a valid. So now it's saying okay. So every single scan is going to populate the verification results, the reason, okay, and then the treatment. You see that? So identity result in this case, and then the treatment. So what did they do? So no assignment means they were blocked. That's why it says invalid. Other assignment means they were scanned into it, or they were allowed into assignment, and then they were scanned again and they were blocked again, and then they were scanned again and they were joined into an actual assignment. Okay, so those are some of the different uh, results that you may see on here. So that's how they read this individual detail report. In the event itself, there's a report up here, and then there's another one called identity verification. So this is the other one. So that is different than what you'll see down here. So PIV activity, those are for um, our older software, our legacy software. So PIV is personnel identity verification. So don't look at these two reports down here. Again, legacy. The one you'll want is identity verification. So there's a Excel version and a PDF version. So look at a PDF version in this case. So you'll see here, it'll tell you a total result. So in this case, in game 3 event, there was 14 IDs that were valid. Okay, so again, this is for scans. Valid with warnings, there were 7, and then block 3, and total that were scanned in was 24. So that's what you're going to see on here. So you have the same thing. In this case, it's going to tell you the person's name, their title, their organization, the activity date, so each time they were scanned in, and then the verification result in this case, and how many reads that they had. So in this case, there's 4 reads. So in this case, it's not showing you everything for this person. It just means that they were read 4 times. In this case, if you wanted to see the breakdown, that's where you have to go into that person's individual detail report to see all 4 reads. Okay. So that's basically just what this is. And this one right here, they were automatically blocked. Okay. So that is the identity verification report. All right. Trying to think of anywhere else that you would see identity verification, and right now those are the only areas that you would see that. Um, so any questions on the identity verification feature? We've covered the tests, the results, and then all the different scan types in the track app as well as the reports. So this is a much shorter training since it's only on a single feature. If there's anything that you would like me to re-show, please let me know. All right, so any questions on the identity verification feature, any part?
Seems pretty straightforward.
Sounds great. Thank you, Brian, for your feedback. Yes, this feature is very, very straightforward. It's just building that internal process for how you want your people to handle all the different results that they would see. So that's probably going to be the most difficult. You know, I do this training for customers or for paid training for our customers, and that's always the biggest struggle is how to handle those. So it's just making sure that anybody that has their hands in the system, making sure that they're doing their due diligence and making sure that every record is updated to with the most updated information. All right. Well, that does conclude today's training then. I'll put my contact information up here. In the case if you are um, looking at using this for an event or um, you're using this feature and you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. So this is our 24/7 number. And then, of course, this is my training email. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Other than that, that is it for today. Thank you all so much for joining in. And I will talk with you next time. So next month, come join me for the inventory app training. All right. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.